Hello, and welcome to the final DVD in this series on creating shaders in HLSL. I'm Ben Cloward, and I'll be walking you through some pretty cool material for the next couple of hours. In the first DVD in the series, we covered the fundamentals of shader writing, code syntax, the structure of shaders, and how the code all fits together to create the final colored pixels on the screen. In the second DVD, we focused on the topic of lighting. We covered ambient, diffuse, and specular lighting, discussed several different types of lights, talked about various lighting models, and even went into some advanced techniques with global illumination. Now, in this final DVD in the series, we're going to go over a whole list of cool effects you can add to your shaders to mimic the appearance of common materials like water and metal. We'll also cover a couple of topics to give you greater control over your model, like using vertex color and applying offset mapping. So here's a rundown of the chapters on the DVD. While the first chapter on the second DVD in the series covered normal mapping, the first chapter on this DVD goes beyond normal mapping to cover offset mapping, a more advanced extension to normal mapping that gives a greater impression of depth to the surface of the mesh. In Chapter 2, we'll cover reflection and go over a technique to mimic the appearance of reflective objects in real time. In Chapter 3, we'll talk about how to apply reflection together with the rest of the elements in the shader to achieve the looks of different types of surfaces. Chapter 4 will cover the topic of refraction, or how light is bent as it passes through transparent objects. And in Chapter 5, we'll go over a math formula called a Fresnel term, and we'll use the Fresnel term to combine reflection and refraction that we covered in Chapters 3 and 4 into effects like transparent surfaces like glass or water. In Chapter 6, we'll go over a technique called detail normal mapping, which allows us to define very tight surface details on objects. So on DVD 1, we talked about detail mapping, but this is a little different. This is detail mapping using normal maps instead of just diffuse maps. In Chapters 7 and 8, we're going to cover techniques that manipulate vertex data. Chapter 7 will be about vertex color and alpha, how to bring it into the shader, and how to use it. And then Chapter 8 will discuss moving verts around in the shader and animating them. Finally, we'll have some fun in Chapter 9, creating a dissolve or burnout effect. As you watch these chapters, I recommend that you practice each of these techniques as we go along. Cut and paste code into your own shaders. Experiment with different methods of combining the principles presented here, and think of what you'd like your own shaders to do and how you can modify the material that I'm presenting to achieve your own shader goals. Good luck and enjoy the DVD.